Welcome to USMLE Sarthi. We are committed to empowering IMGs. We're excited to guide you on your match journey. Don't forget to click subscribe and turn on notifications so you can get notified whenever we add new content. Also, follow us on Instagram and Twitter for the latest tips and tricks regarding everything USMLE. Now, let's dive into it.
What are the top things you need to do in September? So the first thing which you should have figured out by now is the specialty, the focus specialty. Why? Because ERAS CV allows you only 10 experiences. And if you have more than two, and I would recommend, even more than one, it becomes very hard to balance the experiences. So let's say you are applying to IM, FM, psychiatry, or neuro or something. You don't want a situation where IM program director sees those psychiatry or FM experiences and then says IM is a backup for you. You're actually interested in FM or psych and vice versa, right? So the balance is important. You have to understand, you have to know what your focus specialty is. And we've had other webinars on this, how you balance it. And our classes also go into a lot of details. In fact, if you are working with our physician panelists, they will work with you even at the last minute to do your CV and PS. So they spend about 3 hours as part of a new help that we are offering you, and they go over your CV and PS step by step to get you to this level. So understand that ERAS has 10 experiences and you cannot just dilute your primary experience. You really have to know what your primary specialty is. So that is one. So balance is very important. And likewise, the second thing is relevant LOR. So again, if you are applying to a specialty, let's say IM, it is highly recommended that you have 3 at least IM LORs. Applying to FM, get 3 FM LORs, so on and so forth. So relevant LORs are important. And I've spoken a lot about LOR letterheads and things like that, but it is too late in the game to maybe change some of the letterheads or other things around LOR. Just remember that relevant LOR, relevant to the specialty, are very, very important. Okay. The other thing which you should understand this season, which is different, is hobbies are now in a separate section in ERAS. Last year, as they made those changes, hobbies was part of those 10. Now hobbies are a separate section. We have separate classes on actually hobbies only. So hobbies, given that it's a separate section, you can understand that programs will look at it, although they may not filter on the hobbies. So hobbies will not get you the interviews possibly, but during the interviews, it will become very, very important. So my suggestion on this is to go beyond the generic hobbies of I love cooking, I play cricket, I love YouTube, or some of those things. Be as specific as you can be, and quality beats quantity. So there's no point in having 5 hobbies if you have 1 or 2 which you can talk about for 5 minutes. So that is the other rule. Anything and everything on your CV, if you can talk about it for 5 minutes straight, have a discussion, I think you're good to go. So that also is important. The third thing is, how do you balance your CV in terms of the number of USCE, home country work experience, volunteering, etc. That is also important. Programs are looking for well-rounded physicians, even community programs. Yes, in some programs, they lay more stress on clinical work. Maybe in a university, they will lay stress on research, but that doesn't mean clinical goes away. So we generally say 5 or 6 USCE experiences. Up to that, if you have at least 1 research, at least 1 or 2 home country experiences if you've been working, and 1 or 2 volunteering. So that's how you have to play with it. But remember, all of these are important. USCE, home country experience, volunteering, and research. A lot of students don't pay attention to their home country experience. They think that it is not really important, but that's a misconception. It is very important, and you really need to balance it out, because if you've worked in home country, you bring the skills that they are looking for, whether it is the volume of patients 60 to 70 a day, whether working in a resource constraint environment or working with different kind of patients in terms of their socioeconomic background, in terms of language issues, so on and so forth. So that's a very important thing that you need to do in your ERAS CV. But like I said, if you still need help with your ERAS, PS, and CV, Sejal can post a link on the new plans that we are offering that will give you dedicated support of our physicians, 3 to 4 hours between now and September 25th, including journalist review of PS and CV. So there is still time, last minute, we can still help you if you need to. Okay. And hopefully Sejal is posting those links. She'll also give you a screen share, and you can do it later on as well during this meeting. The other thing, of course, is Sejal is nudging me that we are offering a lot of attractive discounts for the last minute students. So there are discounts on Gold and Turbo plan. If you join in a group, I think Gold is offering $200, Turbo is offering $150. So take a look at that as Sejal is sharing the links. Then coming back to the importance of signals. Signals are important, okay? Remember this, signals can determine your number of interviews. It does not mean that your probability of interviews is 0 at the program you don't signal. Just means that if you combine signals in a very intelligent way, your probability of interviews increases. Okay, so how do you decide on the signals? Again, we have a complete class on that if you are interested, but at a very high level, if you have done rotations there, if you have college seniors there, if you are local to the program, so if it falls within your range of scores, there are a lot of factors, very, very personalized. But signals are important. In fact, I was talking to a faculty at Cleveland Clinic last week, and last night I was at Mayo. So how they are looking at it, because the next question is, what is the importance of selecting a geography? So in general, you can keep the geographical locations open. So say no preference, that, depending again on your profile, again on your ties to the region, etc. But geography, you can pretty much keep open. However, if you are combining geography, then make sure that signals are in the same geography, or that really makes it, very strong. Otherwise, geographical preference, as my next point, is not for a lot of IMGs, it's not really important unless you really want to match in that 2 or 3 geographies. You can keep it open. There's no issue with that. Okay, but signaling is important. The other important thing to be considered in this time is personal statement. Now, personal statement will be read, it will be reviewed. The question is, do they review it before they give you the interview or after they give you the interview? Because you will see a lot of programs giving out interviews on 25th and 26th. So those programs typically don't read the personal statement, but they use other filters to first give out the interviews. We have had a webinar on personal statements, so I'll encourage you to watch it. And again, we have US journalists who work in newspapers, etc., all through their life. If you are interested, you can have your personal statement reviewed by them as well as our panel as part of our plans. The other important thing here to note is the content of the CV, right? So when it comes to, say, US clinical experience, don't repeat this stuff, right? History, physical 5 times in 5 experiences does not add value. What you need to look for in the content is what have you done to go above and beyond, right? The history physical or putting notes in EMR or charting and things like that. So for example, if you did a hemonc rotation, did you do a family meeting? Did you do end of life discussion? Those are the kind of stuff that they are looking for. Those is the kind of stuff that can actually stand you in very good light during the discussion, that yes, this was a time when I actually was part of a end of a life discussion, in this rotation. So the content of the CV really matters. Likewise for research, and likewise for anything you put in your CV, whether it is your hard work, whether it's teamwork, whether it is a leadership experience, you really have to bring it out in that limited character limit. The other thing you should note is letters of recommendations in terms of when you can upload. Okay. So the important thing to note here is it takes time. And if you have upload, which, your preceptor is uploading on, say, 24th or 23rd, it will be delayed. During this season, it takes about 5 to 6 days. So our recommendation is trying to work with your preceptors to get everything uploaded by 18th or 19th of the month. And the reason is this: if you are banking on those LORs, what happens is the LORs still show under process on 25th if they are not uploaded on time. And when you apply to a program with that LOR, which is still in process, it could show you that your application is incomplete. If, let's say, the program is saying you need 3 LORs, let's say, and you have 2 which have been uploaded, the third is in process, but you are trying to assign the third to that program, it'll say your application is incomplete. If it says your application is incomplete, there are chances that programs will filter you out. And, if your application gets complete on 26th, maybe you're lucky, they will download it. But let's say your application gets complete on 2nd of October. So you'll be late by 6 to 7 days. So making sure that all documents are ready and uploaded is very important. Related to that is my next point, which is ECFMG certification. So again, it is highly recommended that you are certified before you apply, but there could be individual cases depending on your scores, profile, year of graduation, and if you are our student, we can work with you. But in general, the ECFMG certification should be there before you apply. Now, of course, you will have questions on step 3 and all, and we can discuss that later on, but basic requirement, ECFMG certification. The other thing which you may have questions on, which you should be aware of, is Dean's letter, MSPE, one and the same thing. In general, for IMGs, MSPE is not that important unless you are a Caribbean IMG. So don't fret too much on that. Just go with the flow. If you have it, upload it, and you should be good to go. Otherwise, work with ECFMG. If you have not been able to get your MSPE, they should be able to help you with that. One of the other points that you need to remember, importance of research. Okay, as I've said in previous webinars, and you should know by now, research is important. If you don't have anything at this point, whatever little you may have done in your home country, in your med school, put it. But otherwise, if you have it, it is important. Research can come in 2 places. Again, we have classes on that. It can come in experience, and of course, it can come in publications. Publications can be of different types, can be submitted in peer journal review if it's not still published, or it could be an abstract, a poster. So there are variety that can come in your publication sections versus what you will put in experiences. So don't forget to put research as part of experience also. If you can do it, programs have started to look at it. Finally, the last thing, but an important thing, is the programs. Which programs do you apply to? Now, if you're a Sarthi student, the list should be ready in a couple of days. You will have access to it, but we strongly recommend doing your own due diligence in terms of which programs to apply. The reason is it costs money, I think about $30 a program. Now, if you have financial issues, it is all the more important to select those 150, 200 programs. If you are a Sarthi student, you will be able to see for each program what is the profile of the students who have interviewed there, what is the profile of the students who matched there. And we just finished a class yesterday on how to use our list for selecting programs. So important aspect, you should all work on your own list if you can. Now, of course, if you say, I don't have time to work on the list, then, just 300 IM programs, for example, times 30, 9,000, you don't have to do much research, but there is a disadvantage to that. The disadvantage is unless you are studying the programs now, when the interview comes, it'll be very hard to keep up with what a program is talking about and what are the unique features of the program. So in effect, you're also trying to prepare for the interview. That's one. And second, the signaling. Signaling will be important for all specialties that allow it. And in IM, you have 12 plus 3, 15 signals. So the more you study the programs, the better it is. Okay, so these were some of the things, about 10 of those very critical things we thought you should be aware of as you are preparing for the match.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that video provided valuable insights for your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our website for details on how we can guide you to a successful match.